Julia Stubbe is a channel for healing energy, channeling messages from the source communicated through your higher self back to you. And she's here with us now. Hello, how are you?
I'm great, Toby. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing alright. Now, you are a channel for healing energy. What exactly does that mean? What do you do?
Well, I've really worked on myself as far as energy healing and healing my issues. So that gives me a really clear connection with source. So and I've been trained in many modalities. So when I channel healing energy or information, it comes from source. And then that gets given to my client
Yeah.
and that information or energy so they are empowered to heal themselves.
Fascinating stuff. How did you start to get into this?
Well, it was basically my own healing journey because I grew up
Mm.
in a very violent and dysfunctional family. So there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, and my body held on to all that energy. And it made me physically, it would affect me on a physical level as well as an emotional level. And so when I was in my 30s, I had been going to a massage therapist for issues that I was in a car accident and she had to get her hips replaced. So she sent me to another massage therapist who was actually a shamanic healer. And this woman touched my heart chakra and the pain literally shot through my back and down to my tailbone. And I just knew I was in the right place. And
Yeah.
that was really the beginning of my own healing journey. And then as I worked on myself, spirit or source, however you want to look at it, gave me opportunities to facilitate for others. But I had to go through my own journey before I was able to do that.
Hmm. Did you receive a lot of training to get to where you are now?
I've, I've, I've studied a lot of modalities. So I'm a Reiki master in two different modalities of Reiki. I'm an IET, which is an integrated energy therapy master teacher.
Mm.
I've also taken many classes like in matrix energetics and several other modalities. So there's that. And then there's what's channeled through source, the information that comes through that I haven't received through basic three-dimensional training,
Yeah.
but I received through the fifth dimension, if that makes any sense to you.
I don't know. I'm not really sure about these terms, to be honest.
Okay. So I've done a lot of I've taken a lot of courses. I've gotten a lot of certificates, but you also get other information that comes when your channel is clear. You get other information on how to do to facilitate for others that
Yeah.
you weren't trained for here on this, in that dimension, so to speak.
Okay. Fifth dimension. I like it.
It is a fifth dimension. It's like yes.
So, is this something that everybody can learn, or do you have to have had a gift or gone through similar trauma to have that?
I think everybody has a gift to really connect and heal themselves. It's about getting in their heart space and really being still
Yeah.
and listening to your body. You might need some assistance, but there's so many videos out there right now. I mean, I have a video channel as well on YouTube that can, assist,
Yeah.
but everybody has that potential to do that. And a lot of beings are awakening. And what awakening means, they're awakening to their gifts. They're awakening to the need to be able to look at their shadow side and heal that shadow side so that they can become whole. So do they need somebody else? I don't like to say that they do, but I do say that they might be drawn to somebody
Yeah.
else or guided to somebody else to assist them that resonates with their energy.
And if they do have this gift or something they're interested in, how would they go about awakening that and taking it up?
Well, I say follow the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And what that means is if something shows up and it interests you, it says, ooh, and it makes your heart go, ooh, take that class. And it's like you might not even learn anything in that class, but you might meet another person that will guide you to something else. So it's all about just listening to that inner voice
Uh-huh.
and taking the class or watching that video or going to the health food store down the corner at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because spirit says
Yeah.
go, because you're going to maybe meet somebody there that's going to assist you.
Okay. And how did you take this up as a career then? Was it an easy thing to come about?
Well, I currently live in the States. I'm in Florida, but I lived in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania before. So I lived 6 years ago. I moved to Florida, but 8 years ago, Spirit said, because I was a database programmer before,
Mm.
and I did this on the side. So Spirit said this was like my Batman job,
Yeah.
because it's like I was like that secret, and I would do this on the side. And Spirit came to me and said, okay, we want you to wear your Batman tights all the time. So it's time to sell your house and quit your job. I was like, okay. So I said, well, where am I supposed to go? And Spirit said, we don't really care because the energies where I was living was affecting me physically. And so I actually dowsed. And what that is, dowsing is you use a pendulum.
Mm.
And I folded a map of the United States into quarters. And I got down to the southern part and it said yes. The northern part said no. And then I got down to 9 states. And then I got down to 2 states, New Mexico and Florida. And I knew one person in Florida. And I ended up moving to Florida. And it worked out that I had sustainable income and that I could really work on exploring my intuitive art. I got to do a lot more painting. I got to develop more of my classes and my courses and my sessions and my workshops. And I was happier and healthier. And I'm really grateful for that.
It's interesting. What would you say to somebody who would listen to that and just think it's a load of nonsense and it's not really any sort of spiritual healing stuff?
Well, I don't know because I guess it would be what Spirit guided me for that person, whatever they needed to hear. Because it's not about my ego.
Yeah.
It's about what's can assist them. And it's like, even if they're not ready to hear that, I can hold space for them to be able to be aware of it when it comes up and just love them unconditionally for that. So I don't take anything personal if people aren't ready for it because everybody's on their own journey.
Yeah. But I don't know, is there a way to kind of persuade them?
Well, I don't know. It's not about persuading because everybody's on their own journey. It's like if they find that attraction or that breadcrumb that lights them up, then they'll be guided to that. If they're not ready for it, they're not gonna be open to it.
Yeah.
And you can't force feed something like that. If somebody's ready to heal, I actually had somebody who had a session and they canceled it. And I knew why they canceled it because they were afraid of what they would find within themselves.
Yeah.
And then 5 days later, they rescheduled it. And when we had the session, I said, I understand why you did that because it's scary going inside, looking at your shadow side, seeing what possibly you could find. It was for me when I started doing my sessions with the person who touched my heart chakra. Oh my gosh, it's like I did childhood regression and it's like I had where water literally came out of my lungs and filled 3 paper towels because I was holding on to that from when my mother shoved me underneath the water of a bathtub.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like your body remembers everything. Your mind blocks stuff out, but your body physically holds all that. So everybody has their own journey and needs to take it at their own pace. So I can just live by example and they can see it's like, look at my journey. And, it's like, there's always a light there. There's always a light.
Yeah. Well, in a healing session, are there any specific things that you do to help people?
Well, what I do is I facilitate and I can do past life regression. I can work with past lives. I can do inner child work. I work with your belief systems. There's multiple things. Wherever Spirit takes me, Spirit will be guided. And I just listen to where I'm guided to show that person. And because my channel's clear, I don't really have an attachment to what it is, but it's always magical. It actually humbles me how Spirit uses me to touch people's lives.
Yeah. And how have the sessions been during the pandemic? Because I'm assuming it might not work as well over Zoom.
Well, I've actually almost all my sessions, even before the pandemic, I do my sessions. more remote, what I call remotely,
Yeah.
or I use, you could use Zoom or freeconferencecall.com. I prefer just to do like an audio session because you don't want to get distracted by the pictures.
Okay.
But that hasn't been affected at all, because it's, when you do remote energy, it's just as powerful as it is in person, if not, because sometimes in person, the person gets distracted and is like trying to figure out what you're doing and this and that. But when you're just doing an audio session, and that's how I do my group classes as well, it's like you can lay back, put your iPad eye cover over your eyes and just close your eyes and listen and go with it.
Sounds very interesting indeed. And what sort of can you help with exactly?
Well, what would you like, Toby? What could we do for you?
Ooh, that's a good. I don't know. Are you able to kind of detect things that are wrong with people, or?
Well, let's just hook in here if it's okay with you. It's like,
Okay,
tell me,
yeah.
where are you having any physical issues or emotional stuff that you would like to look at?
Not that I can think of.
Well, not that you can think of.
So this is helpful for you.
Oh, yeah, this is helpful. It's like, let's go down this road where we're not going. So it's like, what I'm going to just do is I don't know if you're receptive or not, and it's okay, but I'll do this for our listeners as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to drop down in my heart space. And I'm going to connect with you and our listeners.
Okay.
And I'm just going to send love to them, divine love through my heart to connect to your heart. So just be open to receiving that. And it may just feel relaxing, or you might not even feel anything, and that's okay too.
I don't know.
Yeah, because this is different for you, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've never experienced it. To be honest, I don't know how to be receptive.
Yeah, well, it's about getting out of your head, because you're like in your head and you're thinking about all this stuff, and it's like you're trying to analyze it. And it's about a concept as if more so than an analytically. So it's like you do a radio show. I also do a radio show.
Yeah.
And we have, my co-host and I, we have callers that call in, 3 callers each, every Monday night. And we facilitate a healing reading for them. And we've always had amazing results because we see and read the energy. My co-host and I are very similar. So we might recognize that you're having like pain in your heart, and we see an energetic block in there. And then we facilitate for you to be able to transmute or shift that.
Okay. And would you be able to help someone with the virus if we want to be topical?
Well, I've worked with people that have physical issues, because a lot of the physical issues or disease, which is dis-ease, comes from a lot of stuff you hold in your body. For me, I was holding a lot of stuff in my body for my healing journey. So I brought myself back from ulcerative colitis. I've actually healed the stigmatism in my eyes through energy work. It's like, so there's physical things that happen too, because you're holding those in your body. And I don't heal anybody, but I can facilitate. And if you're ready to make that shift, because a lot of times what happens is some people do that and they'll be fine for, a while, but they've have their identity into the illness or the disease, and that's all they relate to. So they'll end up going back to that, because then they'll create that reality again.
Okay. If I wanted to find a healer to help me, for example, what should I look out for to know that they are for real and not just a dodge pot or something?
Well, one of the things I would say, if they say they can heal you, I would run the other way.
Okay.
Because we can't heal anybody. We bring that healing energy from source and facilitate a healing, and we can create that. But you want to listen to that gut feeling you get is like, is this the person that's right for me? And it's like, do I feel lighter or heavier? And it's like, if you feel lighter and it feels good, then that's probably the person you want to work with. If it feels heavy or hard, then that's probably not the person you want. And the other thing is, if they tell you, oh, you've got to do it my way because there's no other way, that's not true.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways. And it's like, I'm not about return business. I want to empower you to empower yourself. So it's like, I'm always looking to give that freedom to a person to really empower them to really spread their wings and really work on healing themselves.
Yeah. And how does it feel if you have healed? Well, I don't know if you've gone as far as healing someone because you don't want to claim that, but how does it feel to have sort of helped somebody in a good way?
Well, I don't have an attachment to the results,
Yeah.
but I love it if I get feedback because it builds my spiritual confidence, as far as that something is actually happening, because it's like those ripples, you don't know where your ripples are going. So when somebody comes back and says, because I have a lot of testimonials on my site, and it's like some of them actually make me cry because it's like, wow, I didn't really know that this was going to happen, because I trust source or my higher self and their higher self to really take care, to facilitate, to really, that's
Yeah.
who's healing them. And for me to play that little part is just, I don't know, I'm just grateful to be able to do that.
And have you ever scared yourself? Because a lot of other sort of mediums, like psychic mediums, sometimes might have scary experiences. Is it similar to that?
I've had some interesting experiences because I did not know how to have wow, let's see how I can put this. I I've been gifted as a child since I was a child.
Yeah.
So it's like I've been intuitive. I've talked with dead people. I've had that relationship with it. So I've had interactions with those who have crossed over and those that need assistance to crossing over. So I've had that assistance. It's not where it's not what makes my heart sing, but
Yeah.
I've had experiences with that. And it's quite interesting, but I learned how to, because I would have them come through and talk to me and show up in my bedroom. And
Oh,
I had an experience that I was at a friend's house and these two entities came and they entered my aura because she can do aura, sees your aura. And they came home with me and they were talking to me because I was hearing them and I was like, oh my gosh. And it's like I called her and I said, what is this? Can you check your register? Because I had the names. He gave me the names of the people and because he was looking for this and I couldn't get rid of them. And she went through the register of the house and yeah, they were there. And her cousin gave me the advice, you can tell them to leave. And I'm like, I can tell them to leave? Because before I would just tell them to be quiet or shut up or stop, but I would never say, you need to leave and go now. And they actually left. And she heard knocking on her windows that night, the night I told them to leave. And but it empowered me because it's like any invites that anybody that came, I could tell them to go now. I had an old boyfriend, his grandmother showed up like 3 nights in a row and said,
whoa.
you need to get back with my son. And I'm like, my grandson. And I'm like, no, I don't. And I said, you need to leave now. It's like, go haunt him. You leave me alone. And I didn't hear from her anymore. She stopped coming and sitting on my bed and talking to me. So I was like, wow, this is cool. So it's like to know that I had that power to be able to let them go. And I've worked with clients too, where it's like where they need to connect with somebody who's passed. And I have that capability to do that, but that's not where it doesn't make my heart sing that way,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But it's like the gift is there. I was actually told by another medium that was my calling and that's what I needed to do. And I'm like, nah, no, I don't. I've been dealing with dead people all my life. It's like, I'm good. I'm good now that I can tell them to go.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna write that story about the dead grandmother down and send it to Stephen King because it would be quite good for his next book.
It's quite interesting. I've actually, and this is like really weird, but I've actually had where
Yeah.
I was working with somebody and the father of her child had passed away that day. And he came in because it's like, and she was under the influence of alcohol at the time. And I don't work on anybody with that. So it's like, how can I assist this person who came into the little shop that I work on? Because the owner said, oh, she'll help you. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he came through and it's like, he ended up licking my face. And I'm like,
What?
does he? Yeah, he licked my face. It's like, and it was like, oh my gosh. And she said, yeah, he does that all the time. And then, yeah. And it was like, whoa, but it was to validate for her that this was real. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've had some weird experiences, but I, I don't get, I don't get fearful of it. I've had some fearful experiences, but they weren't to do with dead people. They were actually going to different realms. So I've learned how to deal with that as well. So it was always a lesson, like, what can I do with that?
Yes, I mean, these are some incredible stories. That I think the most amazing stories we've ever had on the show, and these are getting written down and sent everywhere.
Well, if you ever just want to talk about more stories, you let me know, because it's like
Yes.
I could tell you fun stories and exciting things, and I've gone to a different realm where there was prison energy, and it was a guy I was dating, and it's like, so he was at a lower vibration, and I'm sure you read Harry Potter and you know the Death Eaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was in there and I was trying to get out, and I was conscious of it. And the Death Eaters were chasing me around and biting me. And I finally got out, and I actually had marks on my arms from being in there. And it was like, whoa, we can't have this happen again. So I had to like really work energetically, by working with my guides and my team to create rules that wouldn't allow me to go to those lower vibrations without protection.
Yeah.
So if you, so it's like, yeah, welcome to my weird world. But it's like, I'm happy. It's like, and I'd love to be able to assist people. So that's, for me, that's the magic, as far as it's like everything that I've gone through, as far as choosing this lifetime and going through that life of, trauma as a child, to be able to come out of that hole, and to be able to touch other people's lives, that's a gift.
For sure. So where are we able to find your services and listen to the show?
Well, there's the show. My website is juliastubbe.com, JuliaStubbe.com.
Yeah.
There's links to the radio show, A Call to Heal, on the website. You can also find A Call to Heal on the BBM Global Network or the Bold Brave Media, and you do listen to it through the internet.
Yay.
And yeah, so we've been on the air for over 4 years. Nice. And we have over 150 shows in the queue. We are currently taking a little hiatus till January as far as our live calls, but we'll be back live in January taking callers. But like I said, there's over 150 episodes in the queue. And if you're just guided to pick one, you will get the healing energy from the show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on this show. Hopefully you had some sort of positive energy from this one. Well,
I enjoy, if you can't tell, I enjoy I light up when I get to talk about stuff like this.
Yes. I can tell.
And I just have joy, and it's like, I'm really grateful for you to have me on, and I wish you the best. And if you are ever interested in just even off cue, not on the show, if you just want to talk about and like take your notes and write about stories, it's like, I'd be open to listening to you, to doing that with you.
Awesome. Well, I mean, we can even do it on the air if you like, because it's never too soon to come on again.
Okay. Excellent. Well, I want to wish everybody a great day, and I have lots of love, and just, stay centered and be in the moment of now, and be out and stay out of fear. I know there's a lot of things happening right now.
Yeah.
But if you can just be in your heart space and be in that moment of now, I just want to send love to everybody. So thank you.